For centuries, the galaxy had seen humans as just another young species struggling to find its place. Compared to ancient empires with fleets spanning thousands of light years, humanity's presence was barely a ripple. Earth was considered a backwater world, home to a species known mostly for stubbornness and unpredictable bursts of violence. No one expected much from humans, least of all their enemies. But beneath the surface of that quiet insignificance, humanity held a secret. Long ago, before even the oldest alien records began, humans had once ruled vast stretches of the stars. Their ancient armada, crafted with technology far beyond anything in the modern galaxy, had vanished, lost to time, hidden by catastrophe, or deliberately buried to avoid galactic war. Then, one day, without warning, the stars themselves shook. From beyond the known borders, enormous ships emerged, silent, massive, and terrifying. They were unlike anything any alien race had ever seen. Sleek but armored with ancient alloys, bearing symbols no historian could decipher, these vessels held the promise of power humanity had hidden for millennia. Galactic powers scrambled in shock. The Council of Systems, a coalition of the galaxy's most influential governments, called an emergency summit. Rumors spread like wildfire. Was this a new war? A human uprising? Or a desperate bid for revenge from a species thought weak and broken? But the truth was far more complicated, and far more dangerous. This ancient fleet was not just a weapon, it was a legacy, a reminder that humans were not as fragile as everyone believed. They had survived galactic catastrophes, betrayals, and near extinction. Their ancestors had faced enemies that made today's alien empires look like children playing with toys. And now, the ancient Armada had returned. The sudden appearance of the ancient Armada sent shockwaves through every corner of the galaxy. Communication networks buzzed with frantic messages, and intelligence agencies scrambled to decode what this meant. Most species reacted with fear. After all, the humans were known for their unpredictable ferocity, but no one had ever imagined they had such overwhelming firepower hidden beneath their surface. In the bustling capital of the Galactic Council, diplomats argued bitterly. Some feared outright war, convinced the humans sought domination. Others urged caution, hoping to negotiate. But few dared to ignore the signs. The humans were no longer the species to be underestimated. Their ancient fleet was a message, a warning that humanity had never truly been powerless. Meanwhile, on Earth, the revelation sparked a deep, almost spiritual awakening. The leaders who had long kept the Armada a secret now faced pressure from all sides. The people, tired of being seen as weak or insignificant, demanded answers. Historians, archaeologists, and scientists who had studied forbidden texts and hidden relics finally saw their work validated. The past was no longer buried, it was alive, threatening to reshape the future. But the fleet itself remained silent, drifting on the edge of known space like a sleeping giant. Its technology was incomprehensible to modern humans, let alone aliens. Ships that could cloak entire star systems, weapons that bent reality, and systems that seemed almost alive. This was not just a collection of warships. It was a testament to human ingenuity and survival against impossible odds. Across the galaxy, some saw opportunity. Pirates and warlords plotted to seize control of the Armada's secrets. Rival factions tried to infiltrate human space, hoping to sabotage or steal technology. Yet, every attempt met with unexpected resistance. The humans had not only preserved their ancient fleet, they had prepared for the moment when it would rise again. At the heart of this sudden resurgence was a young commander named Ilara Voss. Raised among the remnants of Earth's secret military, she embodied the fierce pride of a species awakening from a long slumber. Elara knew that the ancient Armada was humanity's last hope, not just to survive, but to claim the respect they deserved in a galaxy that had long dismissed them. The question now wasn't if war would come, but when. And when it did, the galaxy would learn just how dangerous it was to underestimate humans. Elara stood on the bridge of the Aegis, one of the flagship vessels of the ancient Armada, staring out into the endless blackness of space. The massive hull hummed beneath her feet, a steady pulse of power that reminded her this was no ordinary ship. It was a relic of a forgotten era, but also a beacon of hope and strength for her people. The Council back on Earth had entrusted her with a nearly impossible mission: to awaken the rest of the fleet scattered across hidden star systems, to unite humanity's lost power, and to prepare for the inevitable clash with the alien empires that would soon come knocking. But Elara knew it wouldn't be easy. The Armada was vast, its ships spread thinly over thousands of light years, protected by ancient cloaking devices and complex locking mechanisms. Each vessel was a fortress, guarded by systems that tested even her advanced knowledge. Her crew was a mix of old Earth military veterans and younger recruits, all sworn to secrecy and bound by a fierce loyalty to their lost heritage. They trained relentlessly, mastering the alien technology and preparing for war even as whispers of their awakening spread through the stars. Despite the weight of responsibility, Elara felt something she hadn't known in a long time: pride. Pride in her ancestors who had built this Armada. Pride in the strength and resilience of her people. They were no longer the underdogs. They were the rightful heirs to the galaxy's power. But the galaxy was watching, and not everyone welcomed humanity's return. The dominant alien empires, fearful of what the humans might unleash, began mobilizing their fleets. Political alliances that had held for centuries started to crumble as suspicion and fear grew. Rumors of sabotage and assassination attempts circulated, and spies infiltrated human space. Elara's mind raced with the knowledge that the coming war would not only test the ancient technology, but the very spirit of humanity. If they failed, Earth could fall back into obscurity, or worse. She looked once more at the stars ahead. The ancient Armada was humanity's legacy, their greatest weapon, and their final chance. The galaxy might have forgotten humans, but humans had never forgotten themselves. Whispers of the ancient Armada's awakening reached the ears of the galactic empires faster than anyone had expected. Among them, the Vrex Dominion was the most vocal and aggressive. Known for their ruthless conquests and iron grip over hundreds of star systems, the Vrex saw humanity's resurgence as a direct threat to their supremacy. Their leader, Supreme Commander Thal Kor, had ruled with brutal efficiency for decades. When news of the human fleet surfaced, his cold eyes burned with fury. "They have long hidden their claws," he snarled in his War Council chamber, "but now they dare to challenge the order we have built." Without hesitation, the Vrex mobilized their battle fleets, their warships darkening the skies of countless worlds. They sent emissaries demanding the humans surrender the ancient Armada or face annihilation. But Earth, fortified by the legacy of its ancestors and led by Elara's unwavering resolve, refused. The Galactic Council tried to mediate, but its words fell on deaf ears. The fragile peace shattered as skirmishes erupted along disputed borders. Human forces, though smaller in number, wielded the ancient technology with devastating effectiveness. Ships that had long been myths unleashed weapons that disabled entire squadrons in a heartbeat. The galaxy had never seen such power concentrated in one fleet. Yet, victory did not come without sacrifice. The humans faced betrayal within their ranks. Some who feared the coming war conspired with alien powers, leaking critical information. Elara discovered traitors in her own command, their greed and cowardice threatening to undo everything. At the same time, civilians on Earth felt the weight of war creeping closer. Families whispered prayers for their loved ones, fighting among the stars. The world that had once been mocked as weak now stood as the final bulwark against chaos. Despite the looming darkness, Elara's determination burned brighter than ever. She rallied her crew and allies, reminding them that humanity's ancient armada was not just a weapon of destruction, but a symbol of survival, resilience, and hope. As the first major battle approached, the galaxy held its breath. Would the ancient armada be humanity's salvation, or the spark that ignited a war unlike any before? The first battle erupted near the orbit of the desolate planet Varkos IV, a strategic crossroads between human space and the Vrex Dominion's expanding frontier. Elara stood on the command deck of the Aegis, heart pounding, eyes fixed on the holographic display of the approaching enemy fleet. Hundreds of Vrex warships, sleek and menacing, moved with practiced precision, an overwhelming force to most. But the ancient armada was not most fleets. As the Vrex ships closed in, Elara gave the order to activate the armada's long-dormant defense systems. In an instant, a shimmering barrier of energy enveloped the human ships, bending light and distorting sensors. The Vrex weapons fired, but their blasts were absorbed or deflected with impossible efficiency. Then came the counterstrike. From the depths of the armada, massive weapon platforms powered up, unleashing beams of energy that tore through the Vrex lines. Ships that had been legends, hidden away for thousands of years, moved with deadly precision. Their engines hummed with a power that seemed almost alive, responding to the will of their crews. The battle was brutal and chaotic. Explosions lit up space, debris scattered like stars, and countless lives were lost on both sides. Yet, every time the Vrex thought they had an advantage, the humans adapted, using ancient tactics and technology that the enemy had never encountered. Elara's voice was calm but fierce as she coordinated maneuvers, inspiring her crew to fight beyond their limits. She knew the stakes were more than just territory. This was about humanity reclaiming its place in the galaxy. Amid the chaos, a sudden attack struck the Aegis's flank. An enemy ship, cloaked and deadly, fired a hidden weapon that breached the ship's hull. Alarms blared, and the crew scrambled to contain the damage. Elara's mind raced as she realized this was no ordinary assault. The Vrex had learned to counter some of the Armada's defenses. With grit and determination, the crew worked together, patching breaches and returning fire. The Aegis survived, but the battle left a harsh lesson. The galaxy's enemies would not be easily defeated. As the dust settled, the Vrex fleet retreated, battered but not broken. The ancient Armada had shown its power, but it was far from invincible. Elara knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy had been shocked, but now the real war was coming, and humanity had to be ready. The aftermath of the battle on Varkos IV left the galaxy buzzing with new fears and uncertainties. The ancient human Armada, once dismissed as a myth, had proven its terrifying reality. For many alien civilizations, it was a wake-up call that the humans were no longer the species to ignore or underestimate. Back on Earth, the mood was a mixture of triumph and grim determination. The victory had been hard-fought, with losses that weighed heavily on everyone's hearts. Elara moved through the corridors of the Aegis, offering quiet words of encouragement to her weary crew. She knew that while the battle had been won, the war was far from over. In the council chambers of Earth's secret leadership, debates raged over the next steps. Some pushed for aggressive expansion, believing that humanity should strike now, while others urged caution, fearing that overreach would provoke a coalition of alien powers determined to crush the rising threat. Ilara stood firm in her belief that strength alone would not secure humanity's future. "We must rebuild alliances," she insisted, "and show the galaxy that humanity's return is not just about war, but survival and respect." Meanwhile, spies and saboteurs continued to operate within human territories. The traitors uncovered after the battle had only been a small part of a larger conspiracy. Alien factions desperate to stop humanity's rise were planting seeds of distrust, attempting to fracture the fragile unity among humans themselves. In a hidden lab beneath Earth's surface, a team of scientists worked feverishly to unlock more secrets of the ancient technology. Each discovery hinted at capabilities far beyond what the current Armada could wield, artifacts that could turn the tide decisively if understood and deployed in time. Ilara received intelligence reports about growing unrest on fringe worlds. Some colonies, isolated and fearful, were considering abandoning their allegiance to Earth and seeking protection under alien banners. The galaxy's fear of humanity was both a weapon and a challenge. In the quiet moments before the next storm, Ilara found herself looking at a faded mural in the ship's ancient halls, a depiction of a human fleet rising from the ashes of a fallen civilization, united by hope and vengeance. She clenched her fists, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. The ancient Armada was more than machines and weapons. It was a symbol of a people who had survived everything the galaxy threw at them. Now, it was time to remind the stars why humans were never to be forgotten. The galaxy was changing faster than anyone had anticipated. News of humanity's victory and the Armada's power spread like wildfire, igniting both fear and admiration. Some systems reached out, seeking alliance or protection, hoping to be on the right side of the rising human force. Others began hastily strengthening their defenses, preparing for the storm they knew was coming. Ilara was at the heart of it all, juggling diplomacy, war strategy, and the constant threat of betrayal. Her days were filled with endless meetings, strategy sessions, and silent moments staring into the void, trying to predict what move the alien empires would make next. One night, in the quiet of the command deck, she received a transmission unlike any before. The message was cryptic, a star map pointing toward a distant and uncharted region of space. Along with it was a simple warning: the Armada's greatest secret lies beyond the Veil. The Veil was a legendary boundary, said to be a mysterious region where reality itself seemed to warp, and no ship had returned once entering. For centuries, it had been a no-man's land, a dark mystery feared by all. Ilara knew that the secret hinted at by the transmission could be the key to turning the tide of war decisively in humanity's favor, or it could be a trap set by enemies desperate to destroy them. After careful consideration, she convened her most trusted officers. The decision was unanimous. They had to explore beyond the Veil. The fleet prepared for its most dangerous journey yet. Advanced ships, equipped with the latest human and recovered ancient technology, were readied for the unknown. Ilara's mind was a mix of excitement and caution. She was leading humanity into the unknown, carrying the hopes of millions. As they approached the edge of the Veil, strange phenomena began to affect their senses. Distortions, shadows where there should be light, and whispers in the static of their communications. The crew tightened their grips on reality, relying on the ancient Armada's technology that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. Crossing the Veil wasn't just a physical challenge, it tested their minds and souls. Many feared what they might find, or lose, on the other side. Ilara looked out once more, eyes steady. Whatever awaited them beyond the Veil, humanity would face it as they always had, together, fierce and unyielding. Beyond the veil, the stars seemed to shimmer with an eerie light, and the very fabric of space felt different, thicker, heavier, as if reality itself held its breath. The fleet moved cautiously, each ship's sensors struggling to make sense of the strange phenomena swirling around them. It was a place where ancient legends met terrifying truth. Elara's heart pounded as they ventured deeper. Suddenly, the fleet's scanners picked up something massive, an enormous structure partially buried in a nebula, unlike anything recorded in any archive. It was an ancient human citadel, lost for millennia, radiating power that pulsed through the ships. Inside the citadel, they found technology beyond comprehension, machines that bent time, weapons that could erase entire star systems, and databanks filled with the stories of humanity's forgotten past. This was the true heart of the ancient Armada, the source of their power, hidden away to protect humanity's future. But the discovery came with a price. As they activated the Citadel's defenses, a wave of energy surged outward, alerting every enemy in the galaxy to their location. The Armada was no longer hidden. The war was about to explode on all fronts. Elara stood on the command deck as alarms blared, knowing that every battle fought so far was just a prelude. The galaxy's greatest conflict was about to begin, a fight not just for survival, but for the right of humanity to reclaim its place among the stars. With a fierce resolve, Elara gave the order, "Prepare for war. The ancient Armada has awakened, and the galaxy will never be the same." The humans were no longer shadows in the dark. They were the storm that would reshape the stars,